Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user Dig Grazanova. Am I the a-hole for moving back home after my husband left me even though I'm pregnant? My soon-to-be ex-husband Levi, 33 male, and I, 28 female, have been together for a decade, married for 5 years. I'm currently pregnant with our first baby and due next month. After I graduated, I moved back to his hometown, a major city on the West Coast, with him. I'm from a bigger city in the Midwest, but loved living out here. I thought we were happy, we planned our baby and were so excited. But a few weeks ago, he told me he was going to file for divorce. He said he didn't want to be tied down anymore. He was still young and needed to live his life, etc. He said there was nobody else, but I know since then he's been seeing someone. He wanted me to move out, but this is my house too. I put down the down payment even. So he's been staying with his friend Louis. I can't afford to live here on my own while maintaining my lifestyle. Sure, I could make it work, but it wouldn't be the kind of lifestyle I'd want to live, especially with a baby. I make really good money even, but it's so expensive. I have friends for sure, but not the support system he does. No family here. So I've decided to move back home. And luckily, my company has a location in my hometown, so I was able to keep my job. My parents have been so supportive. They're divorced and hate one another, but are now combined in their hatred of Levi, which is interesting to see. They've secured a nice rental home in my city and refused to let me pay them back, saying I need to save for buying our next house. They're paying for my divorce lawyer and my co-pays at the new doctor here. They're paying and said I'm doing the right thing for my baby and are happy to help. My mom is about to retire and even wants to watch my baby while I work after my maternity leave, so it's been an ideal situation for me. Levi is furious. He's claiming that I moved to get back at him and I'm going to try to keep him out of our baby's life. I explained very clearly that I couldn't afford to be a single mom in San Diego, but he doesn't believe me. He's told everyone I moved back to get the upper hand on custody. That's not why I moved, but it's definitely a plus. His job doesn't have any locations here and they won't keep him if he moves. He could get another job here, of course, but he says that's too much to ask of him. I told him I'd be going for child support once the baby is born, and he told me I needed to make up my mind. Could he be a dad or not? I told him he was going to be a dad regardless, and if he doesn't want to move here, then he would be a dad by paying child support. I don't think I'm the a-hole, I think I'm doing what I have to do, but I don't know what I'm supposed to say to all these people texting and calling me and telling me I'm keeping Levi's baby from him. Well, Levi seems to be short a few grams to a kilo. I mean, did you think you were just gonna stay there even though you had no support system because he wants to be divorced, but he also wants to keep you around so he can see the baby? No. Good for you for looking for your support system. And your parents took you right in, which is great. They totally have your back here. Now, regarding all of these messages that his family is sending you, don't block them, keep them, because you're gonna need them as proof for a restraining order later. However, if they still stress you out, maybe you just mute them or just try not to look at them. In any case, OP, no, you are not the a-hole. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. FMobile5851 says, first off, congratulations on your baby. Second, don't respond to those stupid texts. You can block those numbers. If he sends any hateful texts, especially now with baby, you can save those and use it in court if he ever tries to go after you. What you need is a peaceful time before delivery and stress-free postpartum lifestyle, and go for child support. He's the one who wanted to leave for a free lifestyle. Now he's got it. And OP responds, oh, I'm going for full child support. Don't worry, lol. It would be one thing if this was a one-night stand thing, but we planned our baby and he's not getting out of supporting it. Narnia Mouse says, you moving somewhere because you need financial support isn't an am I the a-hole situation. Quote, but I don't know what I'm supposed to say to all these people texting and calling me and telling me I'm keeping Levi's baby from him. End quote. You said you have a divorce lawyer? Talk to them about whether you're doing anything illegal or divorce compromising when it comes to the child. And stop responding to everyone calling or texting until you get that answer. And Opie responds, I'm not. He can't force me to stay anywhere. And I'm the pregnant one, so yeah, the baby goes where I go. It is what it is, and he can't stop me from leaving the state, lol. Material Device 2113 says, you screwed up his plan. He wanted to be with his girlfriend and have you nearby doing all the work raising the baby so he could visit only when he feels like it. You take care of you. His anger over not getting everything he wants after abandoning you is his problem to deal with. Don't respond to any of those calls or texts. Ready Conflict 1887 says, OMG, an OP who already took the steps to protect themselves. This is so refreshing. To the randos who have an opinion, who cares? Seriously, you're pregnant. Protect your peace and reply to none of them. Don't give them a reaction. Don't reply. Save all the messages, call logs, and voicemail. Also, if you have proof of his infidelity, and listen to your lawyer. Also, kind of super proud of your parents and love that they came together for their child and grandchild. Love that. And Opie responds, it is very weird seeing two people who have hated one another so openly for decades work together towards a common goal. Just the strangest dynamic I've ever seen. Additional information from OP's comments. I do have a lawyer and I'm not worried about Levi stopping me. The baby isn't even born yet, which means I get to decide where I give birth. He filed for divorce in California but hasn't even hired a lawyer, and now he's saying he'll withdraw it anyway. My legal team has zero concerns about custody or relocation. If anything, they're shocked at how many mistakes he's already made. I've also been clear, I'm not cutting him out. If he actually moves to my hometown and proves he can handle it, I have no problem with 50-50, but he's the one who wanted his freedom. So if he doesn't make the effort, then his role will just be paying child support, which he owes whether this baby was planned or not. When it comes to visitation, sure, flights will be involved, but honestly, he should cover most of that. About this other woman, yeah, she's not some young fling. She's pushing 40, has 3 kids she doesn't even have full custody of, and she knew I was pregnant because she literally congratulated me. 2 weeks after we interviewed nannies, he was already seeing her. And yes, after all that, he had the audacity to ask me to reconcile. That's never going to happen. I don't care if he swears up and down. He's never physically cheated. He tried to make me homeless at 7 months pregnant so he could live in our house with her. That's enough for me. As for me, I'm moving forward. I'll be giving my baby my maiden name, and I'm taking it back too. I didn't move to punish Levi. I moved because I wasn't going to struggle to afford San Diego as a single mom. He has zero obstacles to moving here if he wants to be involved. I'd even encourage it, but I'm not sacrificing my savings or scaling back my life forever just to make things convenient for him. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and it sounds like OP has everything under control. So let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. So first off, I thought I was clear in my first post, but the amount of helpful comments who skipped over the following information was driving me insane. I have already moved back to the Midwest and I already have a lawyer, so no need to tell me to move before my baby is born or yell at me to get a lawyer. I have done both. A few weeks after moving out, he had filed for divorce in California. Since I was moving and obtaining a lawyer, I had not yet responded. I have an OBGYN here in my hometown and I'm set up to give birth here. I have legal advice from a professional. My ex Levi came to my place like the day after my post. I hadn't been responding to him or his friends and family and had just muted their numbers. I got home and he was talking to my new neighbor who I haven't met yet. I wanted him to stop, so I let him come inside to talk, but also texted my parents what was going on. Basically, he said everything was a mistake. He didn't think everything through enough and that he had withdrawn his divorce petition. He said he was fine living in my hometown. He'd need time to find a job, but could work on selling the house back west in the meantime and work remote until he found a new job. Kind of acting like everything was fine. Very strange though. Not like he was on drugs. I've seen him on drugs. Oh, it's been years, but it wasn't that. I don't know. By the time my dad got there, I was very upset and not thinking clearly. His wife drove me to their house and he stayed there with Levi for a bit and got him to leave, and he's been at my mom's and won't leave town. I don't want to get too into it. My lawyer was able to confirm he sort of withdrew the petition, but it was either incomplete or incorrect. His behavior has been odd, yes. I told them I'm not talking to him unless he gets evaluated, and I don't know if my mom wore him down or what, but he agreed and has been at the hospital all day. My mom's boyfriend has been through a lot of this with his own son and was able to get him into a good hospital, and I hope we know something soon. To be honest, I'm exhausted and overwhelmed. I feel bad saying this, but I don't want to be dealing with this right now. I have so much going on and had already kind of divorced him and started my life as a single mom in my head. I'm not saying I'm going to stay with him, even if this is a health thing. He has crossed so many boundaries and hurt me so bad in just 2 months. But I did make a vow that I take seriously. And before all of this, if I told you he'd done any of this, you'd think I was insane. If he's fine, then he's just an a-hole and I'm fine divorcing him. But if it's something more, I'm so overwhelmed at the thought of taking care of both him and a newborn. But it would mean he hasn't been deceiving me all these years. Additional information from OP's comments. He never had a lawyer through any of this, which probably explains why the divorce filing was such a mess. My lawyer told me the forms were filled out wrong, and now that I have his phone, I've seen his finances, and honestly, there's plenty of incriminating stuff he never bothered to scrub. This all really only started about 6 or 7 weeks ago. At first I thought he was cheating with a coworker, but that wasn't actually the case. The woman he's seeing now didn't come into the picture until after he'd filed for divorce, though it wasn't long after. She still seems to want to be with him, which is just another layer of weird on top of everything. I also want to be clear about something. I don't want him back if he's fine. If this all turns out to just be him being selfish and cruel, then he's simply an a-hole and that's that. But if it really is an illness, that's where I feel conflicted. I hate admitting it, but part of me feels guilty for not wanting him even if he's sick. In some ways, it would almost be easier if he were just an a-hole, because then the choice would be clear. As for support, yes, my parents have done a lot for me financially, but emotionally, we're not close. There are things from when I was a kid that make me uncomfortable around them, even my mom. I don't plan on having her in the delivery room. At this point, I'll probably just do it on my own. His parents, on the other hand, are flying out tomorrow, so at least he'll have that support. I'm still overwhelmed, still confused, and honestly, I just needed to get all of this out. Everything I thought I knew about my life has completely blown up, and I'm trying to figure out what's real and what isn't. Well, OP, the way I see it, there's only one of two possibilities that's happening here. Either he does have some sort of health issue, or his girlfriend dumped him and he wants you back. The good thing is that you know exactly what to do in each situation and you have a support system to get you through it. So here's wishing you and your baby the best in the future, OP. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user TexasTreat82. Am I the a-hole for refusing to talk to a woman and hearing her out after she openly insulted me? I, female 42, had met up with some friends at our neighborhood bar and grill to watch our home team play football. We had a big group at our table, and I pretty much personally knew everyone who was sitting with us, and the people I didn't know were friends with someone who I was friends with. So the vibe is friendly and easygoing and everyone getting along. There were two probably under 50 in age women sitting across the table from me about 3 chairs down. I had noticed them looking at me and my peripheral vision a couple of times and could pick up that I was the topic of the conversation. They weren't giving me mean girl vibe with dirty looks or gossiping, but it definitely felt like I was the topic of their conversation. I would smile at them whenever we made eye contact, but we had not been formally introduced. As I said before, I was longtime friends with most of the people at our table. So I was conversing with everyone on commercial breaks, but as soon as the game was back on, I went back to my chair and into do not disturb mode. I don't play when it comes to watching my football team play. I hear my name again being said in conversation, but I don't really pay attention to it while the game is on. A couple of minutes later, I hear my name being called out. A confused look comes over my face and I glance over at the direction it's coming from, and the two women I had mentioned earlier are staring straight at me but not saying anything. I turn my focus back to the game, and a couple of minutes later, my friend who was sitting next to me gets my attention and points to the two women. Keep in mind, I have never met this woman and I don't even know her name. We make eye contact after she loudly called my name out, and then she loudly asks me from across the table, "Have you tried Ozempic?" For context, for those who don't know, Ozempic is marketed as a weight loss drug. This woman, who I have never met before in my life, is loudly asking me in front of a table of people if I've tried using this product to help me lose weight. She's basically insinuating that I am overweight and giving unsolicited advice. When she asked me, I was stunned for about 2 seconds. Then I responded by saying, "Have you tried minding your mother effing business?" Her mouth dropped open and she looked shocked and sort of confused. Some people at the table started laughing and her look of confusion turned into looks of embarrassment as people started giving the "damn, you just got served" looks at her. I went back to watching the game and basically acting like nothing happened. About an hour after the game ended, we had dispersed from the table and were scattered around the place. I was recapping the game with two male friends and she approached me and asked me if we could talk. I looked over at her for 1 second and then just said, "No." And then I went back to my conversation. She stood there for a couple of seconds, then walked off. One of the guys I was talking with found this interaction hilarious. He was roaring with laughter and banging the table and acting really obnoxious. I quit talking and just got quiet because it was obvious he was making a big show of laughing to be disrespectful to the woman I just told no. He was still laughing as he came up to me and began hugging me and put his arm around my shoulder and held this other hand to hard, and he bent backwards from laughing so hard. I excused myself and went to the bathroom. I was looking in the mirror and brushing my hair when I heard the door opened. The same lady came in and again approached me to talk. She started saying she was only trying to help, and I turned and put my hand up to cut her off and shook my head no. She then loudly said, "Would you just hear me out?" To which I promptly replied, "No." She had a shocked look on her face and I had a look of, "You just don't get it." I told her I don't want to hear her explanation and I'm not going to give any attention to her reasons for trying to justify what she said. I walked out and went to find some friends and enjoyed the rest of my night. I got a lot of good for yous and I also received a lot of "she didn't mean anything by it, you could have handled that differently." So am I the a-hole? You handled it just right. This is not a person you know and thinks that's actually the best way to break the ice and try to become your friend if she was trying to do that. What? No, she was just rude and you shut it down. That was it. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Downtown Alarm 7971 says, "All these people who feel so entitled and comfortable with saying ugly and offensive things to others has got to stop. It doesn't matter what her intention was. You don't approach a stranger about their weight without getting served. You minded your business and tried to take the high road, and this woman went out of her way to keep trying to finish her disgusting sentence. Not the a-hole. F around and find out. Good for you. I don't know you, internet stranger, but you are beautiful and deserving of peace. Proud of you for not taking Karen's crap." Luna Dora says, "Not the a-hole. However, I don't interpret your guy friend as laughing just to be disrespectful to her. To me, that reads as he is demonstrating you are the priority of friendship in this group. He is on your side and he won't entertain her crap." And Peach Sandwich says, "Some people don't get told to shut up enough in their life. You don't have to be nice to her or hear her out. She wasn't trying to be helpful. She was trying to embarrass you. Nice reverse Uno, not the a-hole." The community agrees OP is not the a-hole. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I found out later that man who had put his arm around me and was laughing really obviously was her husband. I have known him for about 5 years and had no idea he was married because honestly, he doesn't act married. We play in a volleyball league that has a beach style setup, so it's outdoor co-ed locker rooms with open-faced showers, and he has a habit of hanging out in the shower area when groups of women are using the facilities. After discussing what happened with my teammates, they think she might have asked because she was upset about her husband talking to me. Also, I posted this as a reply to a comment I made, but I wanted to repost here to add some more context to how the dynamic was. My friend group was there to watch the football game, so we are not talking when the game is on. She and her friend aren't really part of our friend group, and they were the only ones talking while the game was on, and they were the ones who were saying my name. I had never met these women, so I found it off-putting from the start that they are talking during the game, and not only that, for whatever reason, they are talking about me. I could have used that as a reason to introduce myself, but I honestly didn't want to engage or give my energy and time to them. Yikes, when you get the full picture of that couple, you kind of feel a little bit bad for the both of them that they have to be with the other, if that makes sense. But anyways, OP, no, you didn't have to engage. Good for you. So here's wishing you the best. Thanks for sharing and take care. And let's finish this video with a quick mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user DeliciousP7594. Stop telling the dog no. Okay. So my mother-in-law has a very cute but very bad dog I'll call Fred. Fred has never heard the word no in his life. Whenever he does something bad, my mother-in-law will just laugh and shrug her shoulders. When I visited recently, Fred did a couple of naughty things and I told him no, which of course he didn't understand. After about the third time, my wife angrily pulled me aside and said to stop telling him no, since it is not my dog and mother-in-law is getting upset. Fast forward to dinner. I'm sitting at the table alone while wife and mother-in-law finish some last-minute things. Fred jumps on a chair and knocks over a whole plate of pot roast on the floor, and of course, I say nothing. During the cleanup, my wife asks if I saw Fred at the table. I said, "Yep, I saw everything, and you said I can't tell him no." So, my wife bit her tongue so hard. Well, OP, there was nothing they could get angry at you about. You did exactly what they asked you to. Thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.